Hey Kaylee, Miss Aselson here. Hey, I'm going to do a quick video on standard form for you so you can get started on, let's see, that was Wednesday's assignment, and then we'll see if I have time to make you one for Thursday or for today, and then it sounds like you'll be back tomorrow, but if not, no worries. All right, so standard form is ax plus by equals c. So please write that down in the top box of your notes, that ax plus by equals c. You're going to need that for this assignment. Okay, and we use standard form to model situations when you're given two variables. So if you're given two different things, that's when we use this ax plus by equals c. You don't need to write this down, just use that as kind of a thought. All right, so let's start with this number one here. So I'm going to scroll in for you. Okay, so if we have 3x minus 2y plus 4 equals 9. Like I said, standard form is that ax plus by equals c. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, I have my x right here, I have my y right here, but I also have that plus 4, and I can't have that plus 4. That plus 4 or that 4 has to be on the other side of the equal sign. So to get rid of a plus 4, we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to subtract 4 from each side. So this 3x is going to stay a 3x. This minus 2y stays a minus 2y. These 4's are gone, and then you're just going to take that 9 minus 4, and you get 5. Okay, so when I look at that, I have an x and a y with a number by it on the left side, and on the right side, I have that 5. So that would be in standard form. So let's go ahead and look at number 2. We're going to do the same thing with number 2. So I have negative 6x minus 5y minus 7 equals 8. So remember, ax plus by equals c. The a and the b on that formula just mean that it could be any number right there. But the x and the y, those have to be there. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw our line down right here. Okay, I see I have an x over there, I have a y over there, and here's my x and here's my y, but I also have a minus 7. To get rid of a minus 7, I'm going to add 7 over here. If I add 7 on the left side, I also have to add 7 on the right side. So now I have a negative 6x minus 5y. And the 7's are gone, so we're just going to ignore those. And I'm going to say equals 8 plus 7 is 15. So then you have a 15 there. Okay. There's one kind of caveat to this, is you could never have a negative at the beginning of your equation. So when I'm looking at this, when you're in standard form, that is. So when I'm looking at this, because that is a negative 6x, I have to take all of this and multiply it by a negative 1. And by doing that, you're going to really distribute that negative 1 to each one of those pieces. But I can look at it a different way too. If I have that negative 1 in front, it's just going to change the sign of everything before the numbers, okay? So because the negative 1 is in front of the negative 6, it's going to change that negative 6x to a positive 6x. Because before it was a minus 5y, now it's going to be a plus 5y. Now I'm at the equals. And because that 15 was a positive 15, it's now going to be a negative 15. Okay, so let's look at this next one. We have 3y plus 3 equals 2x plus 4. I'm going to scroll in there a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have my x and y on the same side of the equal sign. So when I'm looking at this one, here's my equal sign. I see that I have my x is over here and my y is over here, and they both have to be on that left side. So I want to move that negative 2x, I want to move that over to the left, so I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to say plus 2x, and if I add 2x over there, I also have to add 2x on this side. Okay, so now that I have that 2x moved over, I can't add that 2x and that 3y together because they're different terms. An x and a y are different. So I'm just going to start with that 2x because that's my formula. My formula says the x always goes first. And then I'm going to add the 3y. I still have the plus 3. And on this side, all of those are gone, and I'm left with a 4. Okay, if you remember, it is that ax plus that by equals c. Okay, so I have my x, I have my y, but I also have a plus 3, and I don't want to have that plus 3, so I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So now I have 2x plus 3y, and that's going to leave me with 1. So now when I look at this whole thing, I have just an x and just a y on my left side. And then I have what's called my constant, or just a number, on my right side. And then I'm going to go back and check, is my x positive? And it's a positive 2, so it is. So that one's good. I can just be done with that one. Okay, so let's try this next one. It's going to be set up very similar, where you have an x and a y on 2 different sides, and you're going to put them together. Okay, so I see I have my x right here, but my y is on the right side, and I need that on the left side. So it's a positive 4y, so I'm going to subtract 4y. And if I subtract 4y on the right side, I also have to subtract 4y on the left side. Okay, when I think of ax plus by equals c, I know my x comes first and then my y. So when I'm looking at all of this, I'm just going to write my x first, which is a negative 2x. Okay, and then I know my y should come next, so that would be minus 4y. And then I still have that minus 2, so I'm going to put that on the back. And I'm going to say equals, these are all gone, and I'm left with 6. Okay, so if I have a negative 2x minus 4y minus 2, remember that your x and your y you can't combine because they're different terms. That's why we wrote them all separately. Okay, we want the x and the y to be the only thing there, so I'm going to say plus 2 and plus 2. So now I have negative 2x minus 4y equals 6 plus 2 is 8. So now I'm looking, do I have an x and a y on my left? And is that the only thing I have over there? Yes. And do I have just my constant on my right, just a number? Yes. So then I'm going to go to the beginning and see, does my beginning x, is it positive? And when I look with it, because it's that negative 2, it can't be that negative 2. So I'm going to take all of this and put it in parentheses and multiply it by a negative 1. And once I have that negative 1, that just changes the sign of everything. So when I'm looking at my 2x, that negative 2x is now going to become a positive 2x. That negative 4y is now going to become a positive 4y. And this positive 8 is now going to become a negative 8. And then this would be standard form right there. So this is just going to be a different way that you can get to these, or get to, not really get to them, but be able to see how you do this. So when I'm looking at this, I have y minus 5. So my y is on my left side, but I also need my x on that side. But when I look on the right, my x is plus 2 is in parentheses with that 3 on the outside. So because that 3 is on the outside, we're going to distribute here and distribute there. So negative 3 times x is going to give me a negative 3x. And a negative 3 and a positive 2, negative 3 times a positive 2 is going to give me a negative 6. So on the right side, I have negative 3x minus 6. And my left side for right now is just going to stay the same. I haven't done anything with it, so I'm just going to put that back on there. Okay, now I have y minus 5 equals negative 3x minus 6. I want to get y by, oh, never mind, I don't want to get y by itself. I want to move my 3x over by my y. So right now it's a negative 3x, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to say positive 3x. And if I do that on the right side, I also have to do that on the left side. Okay, remember, you can't add your 3x and your y or your 5. You can't add any of those together because they're all different terms. So I'm going to say 3x plus y minus 5 equals, these ones are all gone, so now I'm just at 6. Okay, I have my x over there, my y over there, but I also have minus 5, so I'm going to do the opposite, plus 5, plus 5. So now I have 3x plus y equals 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay, I have my x on my left, I have my y on my left, I have my 11 on my right, and I'm going to go back. Is my x positive? Yes, it's a positive 3, so then I'm done. Okay, and there's one more like that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to have to do, because I have parentheses, is I have to distribute. So I'm going to distribute here and distribute there. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 4, and it's all positive, so I can put that plus in the middle, equals, and then I still have y minus 3. Now remember, we're putting this in standard form, so because standard form is my x and my y on the left, I got to get rid of that 2x on the right. So I'm going to say minus 2x, minus 2x. Okay, I cannot combine my 2x, my y, and my 3, so I'm just going to write them in a row, starting with my x, because my formula wants my x first. Remember, ax plus by equals c. So we want that x first. A would just be a whatever the number in front of the x is, and b is the number in front of the y. So negative 2x, that's a positive y, minus 3 equals, these ones are gone. I'm going to say 4. Okay, I still have that minus 3 on the left, and we can't have that, so I'm going to say plus 3, plus 3. Okay, so now I have negative 2x plus y equals 4 plus 3 is 7. I'm almost done. My x's and my y's, excuse me, and my constant look good, but I have that negative 2 in front. So I'm going to take all of that, do a negative 1 out front, and by distributing that negative 1, it's going to switch the sign of everything. So negative 2x becomes positive 2x. A plus y becomes minus y equals, and a 7, it was a positive 7, so now it's a negative 7. So we're going to do the same thing with word problems. It says write an equation in standard form. So standard form, remember, is that ax plus by equals c. Okay, this one says you have $10 to buy carrots and tomatoes for a salad. Right here it says tomatoes cost $2 per pound, and then carrots cost $1.25 per pound. Okay, so here, because we have carrots and tomatoes, we need an x and a y. So I'm just going to say x equals the tomatoes, and y equals the carrots. Okay, so just like the slides before, we're going to put our x first. So since the tomatoes are our x, and the tomatoes cost $2, I'm just going to say 2x plus, and carrots, it says cost $1.25, so $1.25, and I labeled my carrots with y, so I'm going to say y equals, and then I go back up here, you have $10 to spend, so that's going to equal 10. It's not asking us to solve them, it's just write an equation. So that's just what we did, we wrote an equation. So here's another one. We're going to do it just like the other one. You are moving into a new house. You can carry 56 pounds at one time. One box of books weighs 18 pounds. So I'm going to start with that because it's telling me my books weigh 18 pounds. And then it says a box of clothing weighs 10 pounds. Okay, so I have two things to choose from. I'm going to start with my books because that comes first. So I'm going to say x equals my books and y equals my clothing. So now I'm just going to set that up. If the books were 18 pounds and my books were my x, I'm going to say 18x plus, and it says my clothes were 10y equals, and then it tells me I can carry 56 pounds. So I'm going to put my 56 right there. All right, we have two left. You are in charge of buying the hamburger and chicken for a party. You are 60, I think that should say you have 60 to spend. You have $60 to spend. The hamburger costs, so my first thing is hamburger costs $2 per pound, and chicken is $3 per pound. It says write an equation that represents the difference between the amount of hamburger, x. So see how it was hamburgers were $2 a pound? This one's telling us hamburger has to be x. And then it also says, and chicken, y. So that's telling me my chicken has to be the y. So I'm going to just rewrite this just so I remember. I'm going to say x equals hamburger and y equals chicken. So now I'm going to say the hamburger was $2. So 2x plus the chicken was $3, 3y. And how much do I have to spend? I have $60 to spend. So that's my equation. 2x plus 3y equals 60. Okay, we have one last one here. It says you're buying $48 worth of lawn seed that contains 2 types of seed. One seed is quick growing ryegrass. So the quick growing ryegrass is $4 a pound. And the other type is the higher quality seed that is $6 per pound. So higher quality seed, and it costs $6 per pound. Now it wants us to write an equation that represents the difference between the $4 seed. And remember, the $4 seed was in red, and that's going to be our x. So the quick growing is red. And then our $6 seed is y. So I'm just going to label those. So x is quick growing. And y is the higher quality. Okay, so now let's just set it up. It says the quick growing rye is $4 per pound. So I'm going to say 4x plus the higher quality, 6y equals, and then it's telling me I can spend $48. So that is it. That's what you're doing. You're doing standard form. I'm going to try and get another video on what we did today. I'll try to create that for you before I leave here today. If I don't get it, then we can work on it during TC tomorrow. Okay, good luck.